Hey, it's Thursday morning and I am enjoying some peace and quiet in the house because all the girls are still sleeping. So I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity and read some in Restless by Jenny Allen. Amazing book. You should totally get it. And she has just really been challenging me, and God's so cool because I'm wearing my Wonderfully Made shirt that I just, I love, and I think everybody needs to have a Wonderfully Made shirt so that they can put it on and remember that God made them and loves them and has a plan and a purpose for their life, and it's a big plan and a big purpose because we live and serve a big, amazing God. And it's so cool because God is speaking to me through Jenny Allen in her book. And in the chapter that I started reading today, she is telling a story about how she was interacting with her son Cooper, who was born in Africa, and they adopted him when he was 3.5, I believe. And he's 5 now when she's writing. And so he's been part of their family for 1.5 years, but he still struggles and has questions about why he was born in Africa and somebody else's tummy and, all those things, and why did God make me? And Jenny says that, when they are talking at night, praying before they go to bed, Cooper will ask these questions and she'll just cry because, she wants her son to know that he is here for a reason and he has purpose. And I almost started crying reading what she wrote, and I just wanted to read that to you and then another little excerpt from this. But this is what she tells her son Cooper. Not one part of you is by accident. And I think she could be telling each and every one of us this. And I think this is the message that God has for each and every one of us. So as I read what she tells her 5-year-old son, remember that this is what God is telling you too. Not one part of you is by accident. God made you and placed you in your African mommy's tummy before he even knew that I would be your forever mama and we would be your forever family. We were made for you and you were made for us. And this is the part that applies to everybody. Cooper, you were made to show the world God. So God gave you a special story because he has a very special purpose for you while you are here. Everything God gives you, everything you have, is to use for God while you are here. And God will show you how. Soon we will be in heaven with God forever. And while we are here now, we get to use all we have to love people for God. And she writes, my 5-year-old needs to know his life was on purpose and for a purpose. He wants to know he wasn't an accident. I can't take away the pain of his story, but I can tell him there is purpose. We all want to know that we are not accidents. We all want to know our stories are going somewhere on purpose. And that is so true. And I feel like that's what God's been teaching me as he's stirring something up in my heart, that he's showing me I have a bigger purpose for you than you could ever imagine. And it's scary to step out and accept that purpose and to fulfill the plans that God has for you because there's a lot of unknown in that. And there's just it's not an easy road, but it's the most awesome adventure you could ever go on. And I just wanted to read what Jenny wrote as God's story of himself, because ultimately our story is all about God's story, and our small little part just points to this big, huge story that's going on, and we're just one character in it. But some of this might sound familiar to you if you've ever read the Bible before, but she writes it in a really neat way that kind of connects, maybe in a way that you hadn't thought of before. So this is God's story of himself, which includes God's story for you. Let us make mankind in our image and our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. So I created mankind in our own image. In the image of God I created them, male and female I created them. You exist on purpose and for a purpose. I built you and set you on this earth as a display of my love and my image. But I have an enemy, and my enemy came for you. He placed doubt in you, doubt that I am God, and doubt that I am good, and doubt that I love you. And you listened, and you chose death instead of me. But before the creation of the world, I made a plan. I actually chose you for me before you were ever born. Before this whole story started, I picked you to be holy and blameless in my sight. But there wasn't one of you on earth who did what was right and never sinned. So I made a plan to get you back. I planted a seed, and it grew throughout all of history. First Abraham, then Moses, then David. I would whisper of my plans through prophets and priests, like the prophet Hosea, whom I asked to marry a prostitute. I needed you to see, not just hear of my love and pursuit for you. I wanted you to know that our relationship could not be thwarted by your sin. I would commit to you despite your sin. In the fullness of time, the fruit of that seed would destroy our enemy. He would crush the enemy's head and purchase my children, his brothers and sisters, back for me. Long before I laid down earth's foundations, I had you in mind. I settled on you to be made whole and holy by my love. Long, long ago, I decided to adopt you into my family through Jesus Christ. In my pleasure and will, I would freely give you the right to become children of God. I make stars and universes, and everything in them is my possession. But it is still my pleasure to adopt you as my child. You become brothers and sisters to my beloved Son, the one who would die for your sin. There was a ransom to be paid. Only a perfect lamb could buy the debt for the sum of your sin. So, for a joy that was set before him, my Son Jesus paid the ransom with his blood. He bled out to buy you back. And these are only outskirts of my ways. How small a whisper of me. No eye has seen, nor mind imagined what is in store for you. I know you are discontent here because you weren't made to live in this temporary, broken place. For a little while, you are in this tent, groaning and burdened, but soon what is mortal will be swallowed up by life. I made you for this very purpose and have given you my Spirit as a deposit, a guarantee of what is to come. My Spirit is me with you. I will not leave you. I will equip you for every good work I have planned for you here. I will comfort you as you wait. I will remind you all this is real, to help you persevere so that when you have accomplished my will here, you will receive what I have promised. Yet a little while, and the coming one will come and not delay. For your accuser, who accuses you before me day and night, has been hurled down. You will triumph over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of your testimony, and because you did not love your life so much as to shrink back from death. I am on my way. My steadfast love endures forever and ever. In a little while I am coming, and I will take you to the place I am. Oh, that's so good. I just love that rendition of God's story of himself and how he has included us in that story. And I just want to end with one other thing that she writes, and it's from C.S. Lewis, from the Chronicles of Narnia. And maybe you've seen the movie. If you have, then read the book too, because it's just amazing. And in the Chronicles of Narnia, Jesus is represented by the lion Aslan. And C.S. Lewis describes him in this way, and his relationship with the children. And as he spoke, he no longer looked to them like a lion, but the things that began to happen after that were so great and beautiful that I cannot write them. As for us, this is the end of all the stories, and we can most truly say that they all lived happily ever after. But for them, it was only the beginning of the real story. All their life in this world and all their adventures in Narnia had only been the cover and the title page. Now at last they were beginning chapter 1 of the great story which no one on earth has read, which goes on forever, in which every chapter is better than the one before. And I just think that's such a good reminder, because we do have a purpose here on this earth. We were made for a purpose, and we have a purpose, and we need to fulfill that purpose while we are here. And our lives on this earth, they might seem like they go on forever, and I know sometimes the days seem long, and you just go through trials and frustrations and difficulties, and it doesn't seem short, and the troubles don't seem small. But I promise you that in light of eternity, our lives here on this earth are so short, and we have such a short time here to fulfill this grand purpose that God has for us, that we need to make each and every day count. But the cool thing is that all of this here on earth is just the title page, and when we get to flip that and start eternity with God, oh my goodness, anything that we had to endure here on earth is going to be totally worth it. And I don't know what your life is like right now. I don't know what you're going through. But I do want you to know that God loves you. He sees you. He hears you. He has a plan for you. He created you. He thought you up in his head before he ever laid the foundation of the earth, before he spoke the stars into existence. He thought of you, and he loved you, and he wants to have a relationship with you, and he has a plan and a purpose for your life, and he wants to work that out in you. And I am excited to see what God's going to do in my own life, and I would love to partner with you to follow hard after God and to live out our purposes and to just let him weave our stories together into his master story. So if you want prayer or encouragement or support or anything like that, please know that I'm here for you. But above all, just know that God loves you, and you are here for a purpose.